from the top rope. Absolutely crazy breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Emergency video. Tucker Carlson has announced a brand new show. So the question was, is Fox muzzling him? Is he going to be able to have a show? Well, it is official. Tucker Carlson is going to be launching a new show. And per the Daily Wire, here's what's interesting about it. It's going to be hosted on Twitter, which you might be thinking to yourself, Twitter, is that really such a video streaming platform? I mean, YouTube, that would make sense. Rumble would make sense. An alternative network like Newsmax or OAN. Well, I'll tell you why he chose Twitter in a little bit. But first, let me just address really quickly. You're probably wondering, Vince, why are you still here? Aren't you supposed to be in California? Well, long story short, in case you're curious, I was supposed to fly, yes, back to LA for a few days. And then the flight got delayed, and then there's a connecting flight that was going to get missed, if that makes sense. And then I couldn't get because all the flights were booked. And so long story short, we're flying out tomorrow. It's a total mess, okay? But don't worry about me. Let's get into the rest of this news. So before I tell you a little bit and break down the reasons why Tucker is going to be doing this show on Twitter of all places, I first want to play his announcement video so you can hear it and see it for yourself. So here you go. Here's Tucker Carlson announcing his new show.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies, but most of the time that's not exactly right. Much of what you...
I'm trying to get it full screen. Let's see. I don't know what's going on because Jordan Peterson's in the way. All right.
See on television or read the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true. It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you? No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it. That's not a guess. It's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter, where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news. You talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it. Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
So there you have it, tuckercarlson.com. So true. Hey, there you go. Text Tucker to that number. So here's the thing. First of all, I guess the rumors were true, right? Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson were reportedly talking about something. Well, there you go. There you have the news. Now, I think to a lot of people, the decision on Tucker's part to go to Twitter may seem out of left field. It's like Twitter, that's not even a video streaming platform, right? Well, here's the thing, is that first and foremost, I absolutely understand the decision because Twitter ultimately, and I've said this before, and some people don't get it, and as Tucker reiterates, as he sees it the same way too, Twitter is the social media platform where political news truly breaks first, is kind of idealized first. And you know what I'm saying? Twitter is the political platform, right? And that's number one. And so I actually think it's quite brilliant to kind of say, let's take the show right to Twitter, where the conversation really happens, where the conversation really starts. Number two, from a business perspective, as we know, Twitter under Elon Musk, is it perfect? No, but it's generally a more free speech platform. It's definitely respects free speech a lot more than the other big tech platforms, right? I have long thought that Twitter and Elon directly need to get in the game competing with YouTube, because obviously YouTube here, there's a lot of censorship. And I understand, by the way, let me just say, that's not a dig at Rumble, right? I understand. I love Rumble. I post to Rumble. We all love Rumble. But I don't think that's simply enough. And here's the issue, and this is no fault on Rumble's part. We love Rumble. But the issue with Rumble is a couple things, right? First and foremost, it's not a place that, for the most part, liberals or people on the other side use, right? Rumble is a platform that someone like you or I might go to. The hardcore, right? The hardcore conservative base would go to, which even then, that has its limits, right? Because there's always a certain number of people who, when someone gets deplatformed, they will not get alt tech, they won't follow over. But the hardcore conservatives, sure, we use Rumble, we're all into Rumble, but that also limits your reach to an extent, right? Because it's something of an echo chamber, which, is fine. We don't really care. We're all here, getting along together. But in terms of driving national conversation, in terms of influencing national conversation, a platform like Rumble, as much as I hope it gets there and I root for it to get there, and we love Rumble again, like I said, it's not really there yet, right? Whereas the thing about Twitter is, especially if Elon said, okay, we're going to compete and be a free speech version of YouTube or a free speech competitor to YouTube, it already has the user base. In fact, it probably has more users than YouTube. I'm not sure, but more active users. I don't know, whatever. Because you see in this thing, this video already has well over 1 million views and it's only been a couple hours, right? So I think the reach on Twitter is there. And much like you saw when Twitter came back and is now free speech, how big of a monumental shift that can be. I think if Twitter truly gets into the video game, it can be a very similar effect, right? And it can be a serious mainstream, immediate, overnight competitor to YouTube. And obviously, again, that's no dig at Rumble. I'm just saying that Twitter, at least with the resources it has, can do that in a much more powerful way overnight. And again, that's not a shot at Rumble. And now that's kind of what you're starting to see. And it seems like there seems to be some interest on that front of a lot of conservatives starting to use Twitter, not just as a medium to send out tweets or whatever, but to actually make video content. A few weeks ago, Matt Walsh announced that they were going to be streaming his show live to Twitter. So that's number one. And now Tucker Carlson. So now you have two of the biggest, arguably the two biggest, right, voices in conservative American news media, Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson, both of them now streaming their show to Twitter of all places, right? So like I said, I think it's an interesting idea. And I think if Elon Musk wants to take that route of trying to also use Twitter to compete with YouTube, I think that's long overdue. I think that would be absolutely a great idea. That's number two. Number three, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. I mean, I'm not going to hammer home this point way too much and go excessively with it, but it is true. This is a death of legacy media, right? Especially when you consider the fact that Tucker kind of undermined even the entire idea of like networks themselves, and especially the legacy networks, by saying, no, I'm not even going to go to another TV station. I'm going straight to the internet and I'm going straight to Twitter and I'm just doing this myself, right? And obviously, Matt Walsh, same thing. And so I think you could effectively nail in the coffin, we are the media now. This is true. We are the captain now. I am the captain now. And, that's absolutely the case. The networks, and specifically, when I say the networks, I mean the TV networks specifically, those legacy TV stations for so long have tried to gatekeep media, and they've used their gatekeeping position to, use it to be able to control media, right? And control narratives and all that stuff. Over the years, it's being more and more decentralized. YouTube is growing as a platform. Obviously, that's our main platform here. But now, with someone like Tucker Carlson just straight up saying, screw the legacy media, I'm doing this myself and we're going to destroy it. you can bet yourself cable news will be around for another decade or so. But I would argue even in the course of mainstream conservative conversation, I thought this was the case before Tucker Carlson, but especially now, it's indisputable. Here on the internet, us people on the internet are more globally and nationally influential, in my opinion, for conservatives than any of these TV hosts. And it is true. We are the media now. We are the future of the media. So, there you have it. There you have it. Again, Tucker Carlson doing a show to Twitter now, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to it. And who knows? Maybe I need to bring my show to Twitter. Maybe we should figure out how to multicast. I don't even know how that works. But, there you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, let me know your thoughts on Tucker Carlson's decision to bring his show to Twitter down below. And until next time, folks, wish me, actually being able to take my flight tomorrow. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Thank you, Biden. I'm blaming the president. All right, anyways, with that said, Alpha moves only. God bless. Have a very, very good night and peace.